it is, wow. There's a lot to talk about with this group. So fascinating how they blend genres together, how they have like the most atmospheric atmosphere, but then they also have some elements that they really want you to focus on. There's so much atmosphere, and I talk about this in the video, where it's the key center almost doesn't matter as much. It's like so much. I don't want to explain the whole thing now. Guys, just did my first time reaction and analysis of Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden. Thoroughly enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoy my analysis as well. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you after.
I dream in phosphorescence.
Just an amazing atmospheric intro. We've got the bird sounds. We're in A flat minor, 7 flats in that. Crazy key. Then it goes down to G flat major, which is the 7 of the A flat minor scale. Just so atmospheric before, 40 seconds in before we even get Vessel's vocals. And then they come in, and just for the first few seconds hearing them, we get this same kind of atmosphere around them. Really wonderful. I'm not going to listen to the whole intro again, but I want to just catch the vibe before Vessel's vocals come in. Also some like weird robotic elements I was just noticing coming in to the bird sounds, like distortion. Very cool, very interesting.
I dream in phosphorescence, bleed through spaces, see you drifting past the fall.
So interesting. I love Vessel's voice, and something I think about a lot as a professional opera singer is mouth shapes. And often when I'm doing these analysis videos, I can hear usually the mouth shapes the singers are making, because you think about that so much as an opera singer trying to engineer the resonance a certain way. It sounds like Vessel sings this whole phrase with a very neutral mouth, like almost not opening his mouth as much as you would think based on the language and the vowels and such. I also love the edge on Vocal's voice, the vocal fold closure. There's so much cut in the sound. It's another thing I think a lot about as an opera singer, because cut equals power, basically. If you have a lot of vocal fold closure in your sound, that creates higher harmonics in the sound, which creates cut and squealo in the sound, which is then basically turned into decibels. We especially perceive those higher frequencies louder, that 3 to 5K range, and you get that from a strong harmonic series, which comes from good vocal fold closure. And Vessel has a lot of that in his singing.
I dream in phosphorescence, bleed through space.
Bleed through space, instead of like I think he's saying spaces. So all these vowels, and whenever I demonstrate, it's probably going to be an extreme example, right? Just for educational purposes. But all of the vowels that he's singing feel a little bit like his mouth is a little bit more closed than would be normal if you were speaking, or if you were singing it in maybe a different genre, like a musical theater genre is generally more open vowel positions. Opera is usually more collected for specific resonance and vocal tract shaping. This feels just like every vowel if you just close his mouth a little bit.
See you drifting past.
Like even dre feels like it's this instead of like dre, like a really tall I drift, dre, just like a little bit modified on like everything. And this is just up to I think D flat and E flat. So I believe I remember last time Vessel gets up pretty high. Like would definitely consider him a tenor vocalist if you were to slap a voice type on him, which isn't really necessary in most genres, but if you got to do it, gun to my head, tenor. So this is still quite comfortable for him, even though we're hearing the power, we're hearing the edge. This is still quite comfortable for him vocally.
See you drifting past
That's that E flat.
the fall,
Down to
but no one told you where to go. We dive
it's just all atmosphere and really incredibly simple as far as how many things are happening. We have bird sounds. We have a very simple plucked guitar or stringed pattern, vocals, and then a bunch of like very out there atmospheric synths happening just to completely fill in that space. But it's cool because with atmosphere, with reverb, with delay, you can have a very simple arrangement and have it be very full and filled out, even if almost like superficially almost nothing is happening, or very little is happening.
We dive through crystal waters, perfect oceans, but no one told me not to breathe.
That was cool. We had like a key change in the guitar, but the vocals didn't really follow it. So it's like they were in like two different chords for a minute. It's like some Charles Ives shit going on. A lot of crunch there, and also multi-tracked vocals now. So studio version, I don't know what they do. Vessel's obviously on the lead. I think we have 3 and 4 sometimes singing backing harmonies. So maybe that's happening in the studio as well. Maybe this is just a studio where Vessel's multi-tracked a bunch. But we get some voices in the left and right ear as well as Vessel in the middle in this section.
Perfect oceans, but no one told me not to breathe.
So cool.
Know the way
Now in G flat.
sadness recedes.
Still in G flat. Do.
My those eyes like fire. I'm a winged insect. You're a funeral pyre. Come now, bite through these wires. I'm a waking hell, and the gods grow tired.
The vocal multi-tracking is so cool, and I also love the like cinematic sound design we get. We're getting some like low kind of bassy pulses. We're also getting a lot of like airy. It's like obviously not scream like Fry screams, but there's like a bunch of like airiness, which sounds like it could be coming from a whisper, or that like there's like that in the ether, in the atmosphere of this song as well, which adds a kind of intensity to it. So you've got like the really low stuff and then the stuff on the high end, and it has this like full spectrum of almost like noise happening behind the vocals. It's a very cool soundscape they've built here.
Those eyes like fire. I'm a winged insect. You're a funeral pyre. Come now, bite through these wires. I'm a waking hell.
Awake.
The gods grow tired. Reset my patient violence along both lines of a pathway higher. Grow back your sharpest teeth. You know my desire. All will travel.
So cool, and it's amazing. We still don't have like any kind of stereotypical drums. It's all just expanding and morphing and swimming, much more cinematic. This feels like I could go behind a long building cinematic scene of some kind. It's really, really fascinating. That's the E. D flat. E, F flat. Give me the Aeolian. Hell yeah, we did get an Aeolian cadence. It went all the way down, I think, to the 4, and then it came back to. So Aeolian cadence is major flat 6, major flat 7, then back to 1. And we get that. We get a long, fleshed out Aeolian cadence leading into when the drums finally come in. And this cadence is perfect for really leading to a big moment or leading to a big climax of a song. And when you stretch it out, even if you know nothing about music, you don't have to know the chords, you feel it. You feel it building towards something. That's what's so powerful about the Aeolian cadence. It's my favorite cadence in music. Now we've got a huge wall of sound. It sounds like the drums are everywhere, like in both ears and all over the mix. Huge drums. That's all the way up to E flat 5 and a head voice for Vessel. Soaring above. It's so atmospheric. There's still so much reverb and delay, which is... This group does it. Not many groups do it where you have... Because usually if you're going for like a loud, intense sound, you actually don't want that much reverb or delay because it eats up a lot of space in the mix. But these guys, they have like big, heavy drums, and then almost everything else is super atmospheric in this song. All the way up to that E flat. There's that flat 6. I like how low those guitars are so low you can barely even hear what chords they are. Because if you have a really low guitar and there's a bunch of distortion on it, it can get very what's called muddy and noisy down there. And we definitely get that here. And obviously that's what they're going for in this particular case. But also the drummer. I've commented on the drummer a bunch, and then in the comments I see people talking about how incredible the drummer is. Is that our number 2? Or 2 is 2 our drummer? 3's bass, 4's guitar and backing vocals? Can't quite remember. But I believe our drummer, absolutely nuts on the drums, and we hear it here, just like the rhythms are so interesting. It's just not your stereotypical rock rhythms or metal rhythms or it's just not stereotypical rhythms or patterns you hear in the drums. Atmosphere. Sound design. Very cinematic.
Well, yeah, I spit blood when I wake up. Sink porcelain stain, choking up brain matter and makeup. Just 2 days since the mainframe went down and I'm still messed up. Room feels like a meat freezer, I dangling like cold cuts. Missed calls, answer phones from...
We're rapping now. What? So wow, shock. The last song I did by them, I think, was The Summoning. Because I remember Chokehold stayed kind of on course, I think. And The Summoning, I was like, this sounds like 4 songs in one. And this song now sounds like multiple songs in one. I mean, radical genre shift. absolutely nuts. I mean, I'm here for it. I think it's so interesting, and I love when artists do stuff that you don't expect. And I also love when artists do stuff like that and they're popular for it. Like, people love this about Sleep Token, that they combine genres and combine multiple songs into one. Fascinating. We go from cinema and atmosphere to some kind of rapping, sort of.
Well, yeah, I spit blood.
Well, yeah.
I wake up, sink porcelain stain, choking up brain matter and makeup.
This is a trap beat. Now, it's not using trap sampling. It's using more like rock drum sampling, like a normal hi-hat and claps, but like a trap beat in the middle of the song. But with the cinematic atmosphere, still so vibey and reverby. Like, every instrument is just like, it hits and there's just a wave of atmosphere that follows.
2 days since the mainframe went down and I'm still messed up. Room feels like a meat freezer, I dangling like cold cuts. Missed calls, answer phones from people I just don't trust. Mirror talk, fake love, but I'll take a pound of your flesh before you take a piece of my pay stub. White roses, black doves, godmother, rise up. I need you to see me for what.
We're also in some kind of E flat now, so we modulated to the dominant of A flat minor, I believe.
Your flesh before you take a piece of my pay stub. White roses, black doves, godmother.
And now we're doing an alien cadence in E flat. Yeah, E flat minor. I haven't had the lyrics up, but isn't that the lyrics that he was saying earlier? I remember him saying biting through wires. So I think we're hearing the lyrics in a totally different context, like a new genre, right? And I was also going to comment on, despite the different genres, we do have a parallel here where it is just solo vessel voice, and then the chorus happens, and then it's the multi-tracked voice again. Just a couple similarities between these first two songs within this song.
As I'm awaking hell and the gods grow tired, reset my patient violence along both lines of a pathway higher. Grow back your sharpest teeth, you know my desire.
There's so much atmosphere that, like, there are keys and chord changes, but like, I'm not sure how much they matter. You know, because it's one thing if you just have chords, then you can have everything really atmospheric, but it's still just those chords. But you have moving parts that are super atmospheric. So you might have a chord, but then you have a moving part that has all this reverb and delay and is slowly gathering all the harmonic series from all the different notes in the scale, essentially, which then creates like this mud of sound. So we get like muddy sound, but with a foundation of chords. So yes, the chords are important. I was exaggerating. But there's so much atmosphere that it's like almost like every chord is happening at once in a way. Wild. It'd be like if you walked into like a huge cathedral or a space with a ton of reverb and then did like Mariah Carey riffing. Like, you don't hear all of it clearly after the first few, because then there's the soup of sound that has come from the previous notes and you're singing within that soup, and it's entirely too much soup at that point. You just can't hear what's going on. But the way they structured it is there's this like way backing atmosphere, but we still hear the drums clearly, we still hear the vocals very clearly, but like sonically it's very soupy. Very, very soupy. New section. Oh. Cool. So E flat. I love that. I love the half step. Do. I think they went E flat minor to E major. Is that right? I love the half step shift. Yeah. Another half step. I love it. They just don't play by the rules. I love it. I really love it. They're just like, oh, standard chord progression? I think not. Let's go half step and then another half step. Really, really cool.
I guess it goes to show, does it not? That we've no idea what we've got.
Now we're in like progressive house. It's like Alesso has just entered the chat. Why? I mean, obviously we don't have the 4 on the floor kicks and some other things, but like vocally and atmospheric, and even some of the chords now that they're choosing, it's just like a progressive house ballad. It's just fascinating. It's just fascinating. I see why you guys like analysis on these videos, because there is a lot to talk about. Around.
If we don't choose it.
All atmosphere still.
And I don't know what's got its teeth in me.
Okay, we took a big deviation from progressive house when the drums came in, because that is not a house beat at all. That's like just a halftime like rock ballad groove almost. Yeah, nice. Again, the multi-tracking vocals coming in during the chorus. We are getting a lot of Vessel solo, Vessel with multi-tracking or people harmonizing. That has been a nice on-off pattern throughout.
And I don't know what's got its teeth in me, but I'm about to bite back in anger.
New lyrics, same.
Amount of self-fury will bring back the glory of innocence.
Huge drum fills. New lyrics, I really wish they had the captions, because I can't remember them all. I think new lyrics, but I was wondering if they were going to do the same lyrics again, but like in a new genre again, like in a new song. Oh my goodness. You guys have so much to teach me about this group, and I know you will. Comment below all your thoughts. Okay. That's our return, and I think this is actually similar to the first time we heard it. We've got all the atmosphere in the world, but we've got the drums very forward. We've obviously got the vocals very forward, but again, soupy harmonies. Super soupy harmonies. Yeah. Cool. I know we've heard these lyrics before. I think it was like a very similar musical context as the last time we heard them. I think. It's a long song. There's so many added kick drums in there. Like right before the downbeat that we kind of expect in like a traditional drum pattern, there's like all these added elements. Not disrupting the traditional pattern, but just adding to it. we're in F minor now. We started the song in A flat minor. Then we went to E flat. I think we went to F for a little while, and we're in F minor now. Yeah, okay. A lot of key center shift, pitch center, and key center shifting throughout this. I was just going to say, we've only heard that really one high belt from Vessel up to that high E flat 5 in a head voice or a mix of some kind. I believe he's about to go up to some kind of belt here. But it's been mostly in a very comfortable range for his voice. It's been mostly E flat 4 and below, which for a tenor voice like Vessel is going to be very, very manageable. That's an F. So a huge sustained right there on that F4. Again, still manageable, but that is getting up to a range of his chest voice where you can feel the intensity really starting to come in. But still comfortable range. I would say comfortable, very manageable, reliable range for this singer. Take me back to Eden. Been working on my fry screams. Crazy radical shift, and I could actually make out the words. I did hear him saying "Take me back to Eden," which is cool. It was cool. Not much changed actually, aside from that lead vocal technique. But how much did that shift the vibe of the song to go from really clean, upper chest vocals into heavily distorted scream vocals? So different. And let me just fact check myself. I'm going to see what else changes when that shift happens. So we do get heavy guitars. It kind of panned in the left and right ear some. That's an added element of distortion and intensity. The drums are pretty similar to what they were before. More metallic and industrial sounding, and then the soupy harmonies are kind of gone. Actually, there's not much melodic content, and with vocals this harsh and this noisy, that kind of stuff, where there's really not much pitch at all. There's really you don't really need a strict harmony or melody for it to fit into. So right now it's more noisy. It's like heavy drums, for the most part, aren't really pitched. Technically they are, but not really. The deep distorted guitars that really mess with pitch center as well, and then these distorted vocals, and that's pretty much it. Maybe that is what he's doing. Are these fry screams? I mean, they're very airy. Like so much. It's almost sounds like it's multi-tracked with also a whisper, because it sounds very airy. Even more airy than the fries I'm doing. Not those. These. Like, that sounds like an intense whisper. Nah, there's a little bit of grit in there. There was more previously. This very final section we're in, very airy. Yo. It just fades out. Look at those drums. Wild. An epic 8 minutes and 20 seconds from Sleep Token. Wow. I can't believe they really do have such a unique approach to their songs. Like, I could see a world where it didn't land. I could absolutely see a world where they're like, let's put 3 totally different vibes into one song and everyone checks out 3 minutes in. But they have really captivated the listener, and I love it. I love it when alternative approaches get deserved attention, because obviously they're wicked talented musicians, all of them. Really, really fun, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. Please leave recommendations and all information about this group in the comments below, and I'll see you for the next Sleep Token video. The best way to support me before I go is to join my Patreon. So if you want to support me, if you enjoyed what I do, if you learned something, consider joining my Patreon. And then I'll see you in the next Sleep Token video. Peace.